श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So yesterday we were seeing Bhagavan Patanjali has said this about this pranayama in a brief way and in an elaborate way. Tasmin sate shvasa prashvasayoh gati vichcheda lakshanah pranayama. In brief, he said that when you are established in the asana, then when you are able to control the movement of the prana and apana, that is called as pranayama. Okay. Then he goes on to explain that in detail through another sutra. Bahyabhyantara stambha vrittir deshakala sankhyabihi paridrishto dirgha sukshmah. When it is treated with when that prana, the control of prana is treated with the external internal both bahya desha stambha vritti, external stambha, internal stambha, you are stopping it, you are zapping the pranayama externally or internally. When you do that, then that can take place in three different ways. You can treat that pranayama, that stambha, that kumbhaka in three different ways. Desha, kala, sankhyabihi. So through the desha, through the kala, through the sankhya, place, time and count. Then it becomes dirgha and sukshma. Dirgha means elongated and sukshma means subtle. What is that? bahya gati nirodha rupatvat bahya vritti purakah, antara gati nirodhatvat antara vritti rechakah. See, when you are controlling the external vritti, internalizing the prana, then it is called as rechaka, puraka. When you are controlling the internal vritti, meaning you are doing the external pranayama, then it is called as rechaka. This we saw. But he says, kechittu bahya shabdene rechaka antara shabdene cha puraka vyakhyatah. Some people take that external is a puraka and internal is rechaka. Some people take it like that, meaning inhaling is a puraka, exhaling is a rechaka. That is what we understood in the beginning itself. But some people take the inhaling as a rechaka and exhaling as puraka. Some people see it as that. So taduktam युगपत् उभय गति निरोधः स्तंभ तद्वृत्तिः कुंभकः. See, when you are able to control the movement of both the rechaka and puraka, then that kind of a state is called as kumbhaka. Okay, now we are pretty sure that we know what rechaka, puraka and kumbhaka is. Rechaka exhaling, puraka inhaling, kumbhaka stopping the prana. Okay, now तदुक्तम यत्र वयोः श्वास प्रश्वासयोः सकृदेव विधारकात् प्रयत्नात् अभावः भवति न पुनः पूर्वत आपूर्ण प्रयत्नौघ विधारणं नापि रेचन प्रयत्नौघ विधारणं किंतु यथा तप्त उपले निहितम etc. First we'll understand the exemplified, then we'll go to the example. He says taduktam, this is said yatra ubhayoho shvasa prashvasayoho, where both of them means the shvasa and prashvasa, the shvasa and prashvasa, the puraka and the rechaka, or rechaka and puraka, whichever way, doesn't really matter, because we are not interested in that, we are interested in control. Sakrudeva vidharakat prayatnat abhava bhavati. Immediately, sakrudeva, Vidharkat prayatnat visheshena dharana vidharana. Dri dharani is the root word. To hold. So by holding the prana, immediately what happens? Vidharanat abhava bhavati. It becomes absent. It becomes non-existent. What? This rechaka and purvaka. Na punaha purvat. Then what happens? Na punaha purvat apurana prayatnoga vidharana. So there is no effort like before to do this puraka, or there is no effort like earlier to do this rechaka. So there is no effort for inhaling or there is no effort for exhaling. Okay, then kintu what happens? But yatha tapta upale. Now he is entering the example. Through the example he is explaining the exemplified. Yatha tapta upale. Tapta upale means a pan. Upala means pan. Tapta means hot. Hot pan. That which is heated. Tapta means that which is heated. Okay. Hot pan. In a hot pan, nihitam jalam. You are throwing some water. You are putting some water. Nihitam, to put. So jalam is water. When you are putting water in that pan, hot pan, what happens? Parishyushyat sarvataha sankocham apadyata. Parishyushyat. Parishyushyat means it evaporates. Not just that. Sarvataha sankocham apadyata. It shrinks from all sides. That water, it shrinks from all sides. It dries up. Shushyati means it dries up. Then sankocham means it shrinks. So drying and shrinking takes place. Evamyamap. Similarly, ayamapi marutaha. This maruta, this air, because prana is air. Okay, this marutaha vahanashilha, which has the habit of moving, carrying forward, carrying things. Balavat vidharaka prayatna avaruddha kriyaha. Because of this action, because of this activity of strongly controlling this movement, sharire eva sukshma bhuto avatishtate. It remains in the body itself in a subtle form. This prana remains in the body itself in a subtle form. Natuhu purayati ena purakaha, natu rechayati ena rechakaiti. It does not do the action. This prana does not do the action of puraka, nor does it do the action of rechaka. There is no inhaling, there is no exhaling. Okay? So it becomes subtle, subtle like the shrinking water in a hot pan. Okay? Trivido ayam pranayamaha deshena kalena sankhyacha parikshitaha dirgha sukshma sanyo bhavati. All the three types of pranayama, the puraka, the rechaka, and the kumbhaka. So all these three type of pranayama, when you practice in place, in time, and with respect to count, paridrushtaha, with respect, when you treat it with place, time, and count, then dirgha sukshma bhavati. It becomes dirgha sukshma, elongated and subtle. It gains that name, dirgha and sukshma. Yes, I don't understand. Please explain. He's given example like ghanibhuta tula pindaha prasaryamanaha viralatiya dirgha sukshmascha bhavati tatha. So like this. This is a cotton piece. Okay. Now, what happens to a cotton piece? This is ghanibhuta tula pindaha. This is a solidified cotton. Ghanibhuta means it has become solid. It has become a lump. This lump of cotton, what I am doing is prasaryamanaha. When I expand it, when I spread it, what happens? Viralataya. Since it becomes very light, dirgha sukshmascha bhavati. It becomes dirgha and sukshma. See, I have split it, but still there is a connection between this and that. A very light connection. Do you see that? Even after splitting it so much. So, sukshmascha bhavati tatha. Similarly, this has become so subtle. Even after spreading it so much, still it is Even with my naked eyes to see this is very difficult. So that kind of subtleness, your prana will become tatha prano api. Similar to this cotton, the prana also, what it becomes a desha kala sankhya adikyena abhyasyamana. When you practice with respect to time, place, time and count, adhikyena means when you increase it, by increasing the place, time and count, dirgha durlakshyataya sukshmapi, it becomes elongated, long, and because you cannot perceive it through your any sense organ, therefore it is subtle also. Sampadyate, it becomes that. Okay. Now, desha kala sankhya adhikyena, through the count, place, etc. When you are increasing it, it is like when you do exercise. Okay. So you lift dumbbells. So what happens when you lift dumbbells? 5, 6, 7 is very difficult. The trainer will say, come on, do it, push it, one more, you can do it. And you do it. You did it, fine. Now 7th was very difficult, but after a month, 17th is difficult, not 7. 7 is nothing. You won't even remember 7. After a year, 70 is difficult. Do you see that? So you increase gradually. That is what he is talking about. Tatha hi. Similarly, now we have to understand how it reflects with respect to this pranayama. Similarly, hridaya nirgatya nasakra sammukhe dvadashangala paryante deshe swasaha samapyate. So we are talking about the pranayama. This pranayama now here it is with respect to the place. Okay. So hridayat nirgatya, from the heart chakra we say that heart. See, pranayama is directly related with your kundalini chakra. You do kundalini chakra abhyasa practice, immediately your prana gets controlled. You do pranayama, immediately your kundalini gets uplifted from one chakra to other chakra. Whatever it may be. Oh, so pranayama is very good. Why are you then condemning? I have done these practices. I have done enough pranayama. I have done enough of this kundalini. You won't even think. You don't even know what kundalini is. In each chakra there is a bhavana which is associated. There is a bhavana associated. And each of the chakra there is a puja for the deities in that respective chakra. It is not simple practice. These idiots who treat kundalini chakra, who say the kundalini chakra, meditation in kundalini, rising the kundalini, spontaneous kundalini, all these are stupid exercises, nothing else. Proper kundalini training is you have to meditate on each chakra and do puja in each chakra for the deities, not deity, deities in plural I said. It's not singular. It's plural of English. There are at least 2 deities. One is the male form and the other is the female form. And the parivara devatas we say, the assorted devatas which are supporting deities in that chakra. You have to worship all of them. And there are mantras for each one of them. And there is sahasranama for each one of them. Each chakra sahasranama for the Devi and the God differs. The deity and the deities, or the God and goddess, it differs. It differs. I have done it and I say it is useless. Don't worry. You have not lost anything. The simplest of all this practice is to do japa. All these practices give you a mental strength. That is it. Like you have seen Matrix movie, right? For people who have not seen, you are not lost anything. This Vedanta is what they are talking about. Okay, so in one of that scenes, this fellow, some girls take the spoon and will look at the spoon, and then that spoon bends, it twists. You become the spoon. Some new ideas they'll say. You will start looking at the spoon. I've seen many people do that. Nothing will happen. So you don't become the spoon or anything. You concentrate that spoon is bending. Similarly, in Kundalini Shakti, there is a bhavana associated. You have to concentrate on that Shakti. That Shakti is moving from the previous chakra to the next chakra. You have to put your whole concentration on that. That is what it is. To bring the concentration, to bring the willpower. All these sadhanas do only that, nothing else. So the simplest of the sadhana is do your mantra japa. When you do mantra japa, all these activities, the kundalini rising and this pranayama becoming controlled, etc., they take place naturally. You don't have to do anything. Sometimes while doing the japa, you will feel suffocated. Like that, you will take breath. Why? Because you stopped breathing. You don't even realize you are doing kumbhaka. This is a natural phenomenon. Kumbhaka is a natural phenomenon when you concentrate. Do anything with concentration. Kundalini rising is a very natural phenomenon when you concentrate on something. Even lifting weight, your kundalini will rise. Reading a book, story book, I'm not even talking about anything. Story book, your kundalini will rise. So don't go behind those crazy things. So what does he say? Tadeva paravritya. So prana from the heart chakra, it starts and it comes out. Okay. So how long does it go? Dvadasha angula paryanta deshe. It goes to 12 inches. Okay. So 12-inch place. There you can feel. Yesterday I was talking about that. You can feel your breath there. Your breathing stopping there. Then from that very place, that 12-inch, that distance, from that you are going to take the prana inside to the heart. Not beyond that, to the heart. Yesterday I said this place. You can meditate on your tip of the nose and your throat chakra. Okay, they give different names, Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipuraka, etc. Forget about that. Throat chakra, simple. Okay, so when you do it from the tip of the nose, throat chakra. When you do it Dwadashangula, heart chakra. When you are going to extend it, then you are going to increase the chakra also. That is what he says. Abhyasena tu kramena. Through practice, steadily, what happens? In order, what do you do? Nabhe adharadva nirgachati. You take it to the nabhi, your navel chakra, or to the base chakra, adhara chakra, mooladhara. Okay. So then what happens? See, if you are going to increase the prana traveling inside, you have to increase it outside also. Nasatascha nasatah chaturvimshatyangula paryanta chatrimshatangula paryante va deshe samapyate. When you do this, when it is internally, when you are taking it to the navel, then outside chaturvimshati means 24 inches. Okay, and if you are going to take Mooladhara, then Shatrimshat, 36 inches. That is the distance. 1, 2, 3. Like that, you have to count. Okay, so 12, 24, 36 in repetition of 12. Okay, so it is a doing. You have to maintain. Wait. I inhale I exhale. But how do you say 30, 12 inch, 34 inch, 36 inch? What is this? So he says, evam pravesho api tava navagantavya. So externally, internally, the same distance you are going to maintain. Tatra bahya desha vyaptihi nirvate deshe ishikadi sukshma tula kriya anumatavya. But how do I know that this is, see, I know I can feel the prana when I take it closer to my nose. Now, at a little distance also. But 24 inch, 36 inch, how do I do that? So he says, nirvate deshe, bahya deshe vyapti bahya deshe vyapti, external, that reach of that pranayama, pervasion of that pranayama, vyapti, the pervasion. So the pervasion of that pranayama, that nirvate deshe, in a place where there is no wind. In that kind of place, ishikadi sukshma tula kriya, like the munja grass, inside that there is a very soft cotton kind of thing, or cotton. The problem with cotton is something soft. You can use even this silk thread. That is also a beautiful thing. So cotton, you know, it doesn't flutter with your air, the inhaling and exhaling. But these soft ishika or the soft silk thread, etc., they will flutter. So through the kriya, so there is a movement there. With that anumatya, you have to infer. Okay, so you don't have to do all that. Just practice whatever you are doing. Antharapi, so inside, externally I can test. Okay, it's happening. I can test it. But internally, how do I explain it? So for that, he is giving an example. Antarapi, pipilika sparsha sparshena anumatavya. So I was telling you earlier also about this kundalini. When I was talking about kundalini, I ridiculed it. I made fun of it with an example. That is the example he is saying that here. Pipilika sparsha sadrushena. There is a experience as though there is a movement of an ant. Pipilika means ant. When the ant touches your body, what kind of feel you will have? It will not be very strong, it will not be very soft. There is a subtle feeling. So that kind of feeling, with that you have to understand, okay, this is the place. So if an ant crawls, you will feel that there is a kundalini rise, etc. This is a problem also. Okay. So anumatavya, you have to infer through that. Sayam desha pariksha. This is a practice in place. तथा निमेष क्रियावच्छिन्नस्य कालस्य चतुर्थो भागः क्षणः तेषां इयत्तया अवधारणीया स्वजानुमण्डलं पाणिना त्रिः परामृश्य छोटिका अवच्छिन्नः कालः मात्रा kala and matra, kala and sankhya, they are not different, but still he is bringing you a time specification. See, kshana, a moment, that is when you are blinking. Nimeshika avachinna, when you blink. Nimeshika means when you blink. When you blink not once, chaturtho bhaga, 4 times, that is called as kshana. Okay, so janu mandalam panina trihi paramushya, when you touch your kneecap, that area, any that place, 3 times, like they do in Carnatic music, or making this kind of sound, the clapping sound or this kind of sound. So when you do that, chotika avachinna is making this sound. Kalaha matra, that is called as matra. Miyate iti matra, with which you count. That is matra. Okay. Tabhi shatrimshata matrabihi prathama udghato mandaha. So when you practice, if you practice this for 64 count, that is manda, that is dull. That practice is not good. Oh, 64 in this is not good. Okay, then what? द्विगुणीकृतः द्वितीयः मध्यः. When you double it, when you double the 64, षट् त्रिंशत्, no 36, not 64, षट् त्रिंशत्, 6 30, 6 and 30, 36. When you do it 36, that is uttama. When you double the count 72, then that is madhya. First is manda. When you double the count 72 is a madhyama. Then so eva trigunikritah. When you triple it, means 108, then that is uttama gati. That is the best practice. नाभि मूलात् प्रेर्यतस्य वायोः विरिच्यमानस्य शिरसि अभिहननम उद्घातो इत्युच्यते. Now from the navi, from the navel, when you are taking the prana up to the crown of your head, that is called as udghata. That is named udghata. When you make the prana travel from the navel place to your crown of the head, then it is called as udghata. Okay, so te sayam kala pariksha sankhya pariksha. This is practice with respect to the time and practice with respect to the count. Or pranava japa avarti bhedena va sankhya pariksha shwasa prashvasa gananayava. See, you can count, do the count in different way also, not with respect to the time. You can also do it in different ways. What are they? Like how many times I chant om, 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 om. That also. Or there is another method to do this. The number of times you breathe. Like that, you take a count and then that count also can increase. Or how long you are going to inhale or exhale. Like that. That also is possible. Okay, so shwasa gananayava kala sankhyayoho katanchid bheda vyakshya prathak upanyasa. See, to somehow we have to differentiate the time and the count. So we are talking about this, but otherwise there is no difference. यद्यपि कुंभके देशव्याप्तिर् न अवगम्यते तथापि कालसंख्या व्याप्तिः अवगम्यते. See, this is only with respect to this time, place and count. All these three are only with respect to the shwasa and prashwasa, the inhaling and exhaling, the puraka and rechaka, only this. In kumbhaka, none of this work. None of this means this desha, place. See, in exhaling, you have to hit this place. Inhaling from there, you have to take it to your heart or wherever. So that is possible. But in kumbhaka, there is no place limitation. But the count and time limitation definitely exists. That is why he says, kala sankhya vyapti ravagamyate. There is an association with this time and place thing is there. A time and the count. Ya khalu ayam, sakhalu ayam, prati aham abhyastah divasa paksha masari kramena deshagala prachaya vyaptitaya dirgha parama naipunya samadhigamya gamaniyataya cha sukshma iti. See, now when you start doing pranayama, you will not become an expert in the very next day. It doesn't happen. So you have to slowly increase the repetition and the count, like in the weightlifting. First you increase the repetition, then you increase the weight and increase the repetition. Like that, there is gradual increase, there is a gradual progress. Similarly here, prati aham abhyasyamane, abhyastah. Prati aham, every day. Aham is day, ahaha is day. Okay, so every day, prati aham, every day, abhyastah, when you practice divasa, paksha, masadi kramena. Divasa in days, paksha in fortnight, masa in months. In this order, deshakala prachaya vyaptaya, the place, the time, etc. In this treatment also, with respect to this treatment also, dirgha, it becomes increased. See, when you begin, your the breath you taking or the inhaling and exhaling will be very short. When you practice a 12-inch, then 24-inch, then 42-inch, like that you can increase, keep on increasing. That is the dirgha. Okay, and parama naipunya samadhigamaniyaitaya. So when you practice it, you become an expert. Naipunya, nipuna means expert. You become an expert. Through the expert, you achieve this sukshma state, the subtle state also. Nirupita trividha pranayama. In this way, we have taken care of the three types of pranayama: the puraka, rechaka, and kumbhaka. Both types of kumbhaka. Chaturtham phalabhutam sutriyati. The fourth one is the result of this pranayama. That is sutriyati sma. He sutriyati sma. He has written. He has written there already. So sma is a past tense. Okay. So ti, with ti you add a sma, sutrayati sma, bhavati sma, it becomes past tense. Right? So bahya abhyantra vishaya akshepi chaturtha. Bahya abhyantra vishaya akshepi chaturtha. With respect to the external internal object, the fourth one is done. What is that? Bahya vishaya shvasaha rechaka, abhyantar vishaya prashvasaha puraka vaipritimva. See, external object. External object means shvasaha rechakaha. Internal object means prashvasaha purakaha, or in the other way. Shvasaha purakaha, prashvasaha rechakaha, any which way. So tau ubhau apekshya. With respect to this, apeksha means in association with respect to it. With respect to these two, the rechaka and puraka, sakrit balavad vidharaka prayatna vashat. Sakrit balavat, once, and very strong effort. With that, when you hold on to this prana, bhavati bahya abhyantra vedena dvidas tritiya kumbhaka. When you do it with a strong will, then this happens. What? This kumbhaka happens. This kumbhaka, which is of two types, bahya and abhyantra, that kind of kumbhaka takes place. Tau ubhau anapeksha eva, without expecting these two. Without expecting these two, what? This puraka and rechaka, kevala kumbhaka abhyasa vasha patavena. Just because of the expertise in practicing the kumbhaka, kevala kumbhaka, there is no association with the pranayama, inhaling or exhaling. It is only purely kumbhaka. There is no inhaling, exhaling. Only kumbhaka, pure kumbhaka, kevala kumbhaka. So, asakrit tad prayatna vashat bhavati chaturtha kumbhaka. That is, when you practice it strongly, this kind of pranayama takes place. This is the fourth type of pranayama. Chaturtha kumbhaka. This is the fourth kumbhaka pranayama. Tatacha bahya. There is no inhaling or exhaling. You have to understand that. It becomes very subtle. Yesterday I told a story about Sadashiva Brahma. Now there is another story. See, in India there are many sadhus who take this jiva samadhi. Means while alive they will dig a pit and they will sit inside that. They will ask them to cover the pit. There are many samadhis like that. We call it jiva samadhi. While alive they enter this samadhi. There are other things like there was a sannyasi called Jnanananda Giri. He was there during his last days. He was there in this place called Tirukkovilur. Okay, not far from here. So, in his last days, when I mean, you will understand what I mean by that. Not during the deathbed period, you understand. So, when you read his life, he speaks about him being the fifth pontiff of the Uttara Amnaya, the Pitha which was in Kashmir or somewhere. Okay. Now, he speaks about the past period and the people of that period. 500 years back, there was a river here. 800 years back, that emperor was ruling that area. Like that he will talk. Okay, very, very, very mystical. There are two ways to understand. Since he has become one with that Brahman, everything he understands as a presenter. So that way, or he existed for all that, whichever. Because what happened was after his samadhi. Let us come to that samadhi later. After his samadhi, when his disciple went to Kashmir, in Srinagar there was one Lakshman Jew. He was an authority in Kashmiri Shaivism. Okay, there are two Shaivism. One is North Indian Kashmiri Shaivism, the other one is South Indian Shaivism. Okay, so he was there in Kashmir to meet this Lakshman Jew. Lakshman Jew was great Siddha. He said, okay, tomorrow after performing this Chandi Yaga, I will go into Samadhi and I will tell you after that. The next day, he went into Samadhi and he came out and said that your Guruji is not interested in revealing the time period or place of his birth. So, don't disturb again. Not just me, anyone. So, that was his message. So, okay. So, now you know he has attained Samadhi. Now, let us come to that Samadhi. Even before his Samadhi, he made a statue of himself and stood behind it, and he gave posture and all that. He said, does it look similar and all that? And he dug a pit and jumped into that pit and said, oh, he was a very short man. Okay. So he said, okay, is this proper size? Like that. He was a funny man also. Okay, he used to pull legs and all, make pun intended comments and all. So after all this, one day while he was taking bath or after some time, there was no movement in his body. He went into Samadhi. Now we don't know whether he went into Samadhi or he attained Samadhi. That was the problem. So for 2 days, they were around that person, that body, there is no prana, so we'll call it a body. That body, and they don't know what to do. Should we decide that he has attained Samadhi and put him in that pit he had dug, or should we wait for him to come out of the Samadhi? They don't know. So finally, they went to this great saint who lived during that very period, very recently, till very recent. Okay, in Kanchi Mahapariva they call him Chandrasekharendra Saraswati. His name is. So they went to him and they asked him. He said, 2 days you can put him in the pit he had dug for. He knew everything very clearly. That is why he did that. So complete the ceremony. That is what he said. So whether he went into Samadhi or he attained Samadhi, there was a big conflict there. So that kind of thing happens. Why? Because the prana becomes so subtle and so there is only kumbhaka, kevala kumbhaka. Okay. Tatacha bahyabhyantara vikshepa akshepi tadanapeksha ityartha. Therefore, external and internal objects, one expects the external and internal objects things, the other does not expect the external and internal things. That is the difference between these two kind of kumbhakas. Anya vyakhya, there is another way to interpret this. Bhashyo vishayaha dwadashantadir abhyantaro vishayaha hridaya nabhi chakradi. See, external things you can interpret it another way. 12 inches, 24 inches, like that. Internal, the heart chakra, navel chakra, etc. In this way also you can interpret. Tau dvau vishaya avakshipya paryalochya yaha stambha rupaha gati vichyadah sa chaturtha pranaya. So expecting that and not expecting that, thinking about that and not thinking about that, using that and not using that. This is the fourth type, third type and fourth type of pranayama. Tritiyastu. Third one is bahyabhyantaro vishaya vishayo aparyalocheva sahasa bhavati iti virodha. The third one takes place with respect to that, without thinking about this. That is the third type. एतादृश चतुर्विध प्राणायामः अपाने जुह्वति प्राणविद्यादिना सार्थेन श्लोकेन दर्श. These four types of pranayama are what is explained in this 1.5 shlokas. तदएव मुक्तानां द्वादशतः यज्ञविदां फलमाह. So there are 12 types of yajnas which are explained till now. So these 12 types of yajnas, one who knows means one who practices. Here knowing is not the key, practicing it is the key. So one who knows means one who practices these. In Vedanta, when we say one who practices means one who knows. Here one who knows means one who practices. There only knowing is important, here practicing is important, not just knowing, because this is karma. Okay, so yajna vidam falamaha, what is the result they gain, that is said here. सर्वेप्येते यज्ञविदः यज्ञक्षपितकल्मषाः यज्ञशिष्टामृतभुजः यान्ति ब्रह्म सनातनम्. सर्वे अपि एते, all these यज्ञविदः, knows of all these different yajnas, practitioners of yajñakshapitakalmasha. Because of this yajna, kshapitakalmasha, kalmasha means papa, sin. They have washed off their sin. Kshapita means destroyed, washed off. They have washed off their sin. Yajna shishta amrta bhujah. They eat the leftover of the yajna. See, okay, they leave the. I'll explain this. Yanti Brahma Sanatanam. They attain the Brahman which is eternal. Okay, now yajnan vidanti jananti vindanti nabhante vaiti yajna vidah. Vida jnane is the root word. Jnana dhatu, gati dhatu, jnana gati prapti. Gati dhatu, gati jnana prapti. Similar way, jnana dhatu, prapti, gati. In both three, all these ways you can understand. Means any dhatu which talks about gati, movement, that could be understood in the sense of prapti, attaining, jnana, knowing. Okay, so here it is knowing, therefore you can interpret it as attaining and practicing, gaining. Okay, so he says vidanti. Vidanti means jananti, knowing. Vidajnane. Vindanti, labante, to gain. Whichever way you can interpret it. So vaiti yajna vidah. That is the yajna vidah, knower of or practitioner of, gainer of this yajnas. Yajnanam jnatara kartarascha. He is making it clear. The people who know about these yajnas and people who practice these yajnas. That is what we are talking about. Yajnaihi purvoktaihi kshabdam nashitam kalmasham papam yesham te yajna shapita kalmasham. People through these yajnas, which was said earlier, these 12 different yajnas, through them, one who has destroyed all their sins, they are called as yajna shapita kalmashaha. Yajna krutva avashishte kale. After practicing the yajna, in the rest of the time, hannam amrita shabdavacham, the food which is called as amrita, nectar, ambrosia, bunjata iti, they eat. Therefore, they are called as yajna shishta amrita bhujaha. Why I was talking about this and I said there is a different interpretation is already I told, when they perform the yajna, after the yajna, the leftover in that vessel of Somayaga, they take one drop, they take. That is yajna shishta, the leftover. Shishta means leftover. Okay, the rest, leftover. Whatever used in the yajna, whatever is not used, that unused portion, that leftover portion, the rest of the portion, that amrita, that is the nectar, because that is the food of deities. Deities eat, drink nectar. So therefore, that nectar. That soma is referred to as nectar. They eat that. Is there reference to the karma there? Here, at the other time, after practicing this, during the time when they don't practice, they eat this food, anna. That is itself is the amrita, because that is what keeps this temple, which you use to practice the yoga sadhana, etc. intact. So you have to take care of this body also. Te sarve api sattva shuddhi jnana. So he said, yanti brahma sanatanam. They gain, all these people who perform these yajnas, they gain the Brahman. Oh, why do I have to study all this? I can simply practice one of these yajnas. If you say no, te sarve api, all these yajnas, whoever practices whatever yajna, all these sattva shuddhi jnana prapti dwarena, through the purity of heart, purity of mind, sattva shuddhi, jnana prapti, approaching the guru and gaining the jnana, through that dwarena, through that yanti, they gain, they attain Brahma, Sanatana, they gain this eternal Brahman. Nityam samsaram samsarat muchyate. Meaning they attain Brahman means the eternal Brahman means they become relieved of this samsara, released from the samsara completely, eternally. That is the idea. We see this. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.